Welcome to the AMPD podcast, where we dive deep into the world of entrepreneurship, innovation, and all things hustle. I'm your host, Miles Kupeka, in this exciting journey. Today, we are thrilled to announce that MTN is taking over the AMPD podcast for the next 3 episodes. MTN Pulse is not just about connecting you to the world. It's also about empowering young entrepreneurs through the incredible Youth Hustle Hub campaign. This initiative features on-the-ground and online activities designed to facilitate trade opportunities for young hustlers like you. In this special series, we explore inspiring stories, share practical strategies, and keep you motivated. All brought to you by MTN Pulse Youth Hustle Hub. So grab a notebook, get ready to be inspired, and let's jump into today's episode. Remember to get affordable deals, dope rewards, and cool experiences. Simply join MTN Pulse by dialing *411# or join on the MTN app. Let's operate. Hashtag MTN Pulse, hashtag Let's Operate, hashtag Youth Hustle Hub.
If you're down to take it to the top, get the 10 gigs MTN Pulse Youth Bundle for only 49 Rand and operate to the highest level. It all hits different with the best data deals, so let's operate. Sebenza lazima.
You've had a really interesting journey. You actually started as a marketer, right?
I studied marketing and media studies. I graduated in 2013 and then I worked for an advertising agency for 2 years before I started doing music.
You know, like a lot of people want to obviously follow their passion and go into arts, music, and all of the creative stuff. Now that you went the traditional study, then employment, and then followed your passion, would you think that it would be the best route, or you think people could just go straight?
Honestly, I wouldn't say you have to. Don't say I'm trying to discourage people into studying. Study, babes. But I feel like a lot of the time I got this degree that got me into certain doors, but the rooms that I was able to stay in was more of my relationships that I was able to build over the years. And that wasn't necessarily because I had that degree paper. It was actually because I knew how to work rooms. I knew how to speak to people. I knew how to convince them to give me money for certain things. And I think there's some things that you don't learn in school per se, like just being confident in your ideas and knowing how to relay them. Or when people ask me, like, what do? I'm a musician, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a cosmetic company, I also do fashion. I know what my T's and C's are that come with my brand. And when I need to meet someone, like today, you said you're into food, I was already thinking, I got an email the other day from this company in Dubai that wants me to do my own burger. I should probably speak to you and see if that's something viable. That's got nothing to do with my degree. That's just got to do with my freaking mind of how I can actually leverage this meeting that I've had with you, you know?
Fair enough. And I think that's super, super interesting. But wouldn't you agree then that, for example, the time you had in corporate and did help finesse and understand what the other side of the room, because often people forget that even if you are following your passion in music or whatever art, you still deal with corporates. You're still going to deal with MTN brand team, and they're going to look at the questions from their perspective as in what's in it for them.
I do think it's important, not necessarily in a sense of what I could do for the brand, but also important on how I can protect myself from brand as well, because a brand will come in and want to achieve their KPIs. They want to achieve their objectives, and it will sometimes be, as a musician, at your disadvantage. So because I came from corporate, I kind of knew what to look for, but I wouldn't say that artists that don't necessarily have that background would be taken advantage of because they know how to implement people that might know better than them in those situations. Because even with me in that background, I found myself in situations where I signed a contract that wasn't beneficial for me, and I got myself in a situation that I now need to get lawyers involved to get me out of it. So I think the best thing to do is, one, equip yourself with people that might know better than you in a specific industry that can assist you in what you're doing. But I don't feel like you need to know absolutely everything. I think you need to know how to delegate certain things in your business and your creativity.
Yeah, fair enough. In fact, my first boss used to say at Microsoft, she used to say, Miles, focus on your strengths, because if you focus on your weaknesses, you'll have really strong weaknesses. And that taught me that you should either partner for your weaknesses or employ for your weaknesses. But the trick there is to know what you are weak at and get people who are passionate about your weakness to do that, right? So super cool. And then, but you're a creative essentially. Did you always know that you were creative from get-go when you were a kid? Like, could someone say, that
I
one?
had to be a creative because the marks went mucking, like I was... There's no option because it wasn't like I was going to be like a heart surgeon with my freaking... I mean, what?
I'm not sure. Knowing you, I think if you applied your mind to anything, you
I
could have...
probably would definitely brand like doctors that do stuff. Like, yes, there's a Praga hospital, but I'm not going to be the one that's doing the surgery.
The open heart surgery, no. Okay.
No. But I think with everything, there is a level of creativity that is involved in everything that you do. If it's not the music industry, if it's not arts, if it's not spoken word, if it's finance, okay, maybe not to be creative in finance because SaaS, but with the creative accounting, maybe not. But I think in every level of industry, it does take a certain level of creativity to be able to be groundbreaking.
And because you obviously, people know you for your music, now you obviously have your own makeup line and fashion line. I mean, there's a clear thread of creativity there. But the other two are also very entrepreneurial. Maybe you'd argue that there is entrepreneurism in music as well. But maybe if you can just connect the lines for us as to what are the new things you had to learn in the two different other spaces, and being a brand yourself now and being a product, I guess.
When I started, it definitely was always all about the music. I wanted to get my music on radio. I wanted to get my music video on TV. And then as I continuously grew, I knew it was important to be able to diversify my brand purely with the fact that I wanted to be able to make more money. I wanted to be able to have multiple financial income streams. And it would be a disadvantage for me if I wasn't able to leverage my brand to be able to make money for me without me necessarily having to get on stage every day and make it. Because God forbid, if anything has to happen. Oh, no, I mean, if I just want to get pregnant and I just want to have a baby and I don't want to perform for the 9 months, I need to make sure that I've got finances that are coming into my account that don't necessarily need me to be actively getting up, getting on stage and saying, pull up in a Ford or Audi for that check to go ching from F&B, you know what I mean? Not a lot of artists actually do that, and it's great for me because that means there's more brands for me to be able to work with. So at the beginning of mid of my career, that's when I started working with brands. Like I was a brand ambassador for Cavassier, and then I went on to Russian Bear. I did some stuff with Brutal Fruit, hence alcohol, because I'm always in the clubs. And then I did a collaboration with Sports Scene, with Red Bats. I went into fashion, and the exciting thing about that, it was supposed to be just 2 seasons, and we ended up doing it for 5 years because my corporate mind kind of came into my deal and how to deal with it. 100%, because I was able to leverage that deal for longer than what it was actually signed for. But with the brands, I was like, you know what? COVID hit. And I was just like, okay. So when COVID hit, the brands also checked out because they're like, we can't do anything with you in COVID. You can't move. We can't do. And then that's when I was like, no, okay, so I need to create something that's mine because I can't check out of myself. That's how I came with my makeup range. I came with Naked Without purely because I needed something that I owned. So that's my money. I invest in it. I get the samples. I found the manufacturers in China. I went back and forth. Babes, do you know how hard it is to do a manufacturing thing in China? Do you know how many times they misspelled Naked Without? Do you know this one time I got samples, it was Naked Witty Out, and I still contemplated I'm just gonna sell it, because money goes into it and it's my money, but they misspelt it. So now I have to bin all of that products and do it all over again and be on the phone and say, no, this is on you. No, she's like, no, but I sent you samples on paper. You approved it. But it wasn't Naked Witty Out on the paper, doll. You know what I mean? So those were serious learning curves that I never had when I was working with brand, because all of that was brand. I just showed up. I was like, okay, these are my clothes. I'm doing a tour. I'm going to the stores. You're going to buy my clothes. I'm going to market it. I'm going to do a photo shoot. But now that it's me, there's so much that I've lost, so much money that I've lost. So now with Naked Without, I had to push it out for a year because I went through a personal loss and I couldn't release the product because my mind wasn't there. But makeup expires. So I had to bin it again because I couldn't sit on the stock for a year and sell it again because I put expiration dates. That was important for me. So I had to bin that again. Then I had to do the process again. Then I had a deal of it sitting in the store because I'm like, foundation, I need customers to walk in and try the foundation and match it. So I put it in the egg store in Rosebank. Problem, I only have one store. So my fans are all over the country. So they're complaining that they can't get the product. It's not on the website because I messed up. I signed an exclusivity deal of it only being in store. So I can't do a website for a year. I had to bin my product again because it didn't move as fast as I anticipated. Now I have my stock in my garage. I'm building the website and I'm finally going to launch it in October. There's a lot of things that happen, and just because I've got a degree, just because I've got corporate background, you will still make mistakes. And when you invest in yourself, there will be losses, but eventually I'm praying there will be a profit. I see myself eventually having my makeup in Selfridges in London and being able to travel there and do pop-ups. And that's where I see myself going. But believe me, I've binned my product 3 times ever since I launched it.
Wow. So clearly entrepreneurism is not a walk in a park, right? And it's not as sexy as people might make it look on Instagram. It's both graft and pain and loss. We've got obviously people sitting here, thinking, well, you're on a winning wicket. You had the music side maybe to balance you. What would you say to them if they are starting on their journey and maybe they're just doing the fashion line or just the makeup? What would be the best advice you think you could give someone who's sitting in the audience?
Honestly, I don't know if I can give the best advice because I feel like everything that you decide to venture into is very specific on why you're doing it for yourself. Maybe you found a need in your community. Maybe you found a product that doesn't exist within your friendship circle. And I honestly feel like as long as you believe in what your product is, but I also don't want to say believe because everyone just says, believe in yourself, it will happen. But I really do believe in the power of manifestation, to be honest with you. I posted a video on my Instagram this week because I was like, there's this saying about dress for the position that you want. If you want to be a CEO and you're an assistant or an entry level in a company, dress like a CEO every time you go to work because I don't know if it's the universe. I don't know if it's divine intervention. I don't know if it's God. I don't know. Like something happens when you put something in the universe and you believe in it with no doubts, no worry, no anxiety. You say borderline as in like psychotic. Like you believe it so much that people are saying, yo, that one is not actually okay in the head. And it happens. I don't know if it's all of a sudden you meet the right person, and then you're like, actually, maybe I must do this burger thing because the universe is telling you because you believe that this is something that's going to happen. So I hate saying believe in yourself, but I really am going to say believe in yourself and manifest that because I swear to God, the world is going to give it to you. Honestly, your mind is a powerful tool. And the fact that you guys are here means that you're already manifesting where you want to be.
There's a lot of people who are entrepreneurs and then there's a lot of people who want to be preneurs, they will have 50 reasons why they can't start their business. Whereas the real entrepreneurs just get going and get moving. But on the manifestation part, it is so true. I don't know how to explain it to you. That's how I know if you're genuine or not. Because a real entrepreneur, that's why I suppose they call them visionaries. Because you see it's so clear in your mind's eye. It is crystal. Next year, where you'll be, it is. And it has to be at that level of detail, because if you're going to bend the universe to your will, you must be spot on about it, because it would suck if you bend it and it's not exactly to what you want. And I'll make you a quick example. A mate of mine was like, dude, and he's an amazing entrepreneur. He says, dude, I always thought I was going to be living in a penthouse overlooking lights in the city. And I'm like, yeah, but that's what you currently live in a penthouse and overlook the city. He says, yeah, I forgot a small detail when I had that vision in my mind that I wanted that to be New York, not Joburg CBD. So you need that level of detail. And I appreciate you saying that. And just maybe a final point on that. It's like how you see this work out is that, for example, when you like a car, all of a sudden you see it everywhere. And that's what manifestation does. Once you clear about your vision, all of a sudden you start seeing everything that leads you down your path, because it's always been there. But now that you've articulated and made it clear, you start seeing it everywhere. Speaking of manifestation, in terms of, collaborations, whether it's in the music or in fashion or your makeup line, who would you like to see or would like to work with? Or, it's just like, you'll know you've
So collaborations, I still want to work with Thandiso Mazwai.
She's amazing, eh?
She's so amazing. I mean, Zabalaza is an album that has such core memories of when I was like still at home with my mom, and like every time I see her, I'm just like, she seems like such a spiritually powerful woman. So I'm still trying to find the right song because I don't want to go to her and mess up the opportunity. And every time she says, "Oh, Nadia has a song," leave me alone. That girl's sending me all these bitches in the trap. You know what I mean? So Thandiso Mazwai musically. Makeup wise, I would like to work with Nandi Ngoma, or Nandi Madida, sorry, married. Because I think the one thing about my makeup range that I struggled with is that South African women naturally have good skin. But I would love to work on, like with the makeup, with a naturally beautiful woman. And I feel like she encompasses a pure South African woman, powerful, strong, a matriarch in our household, is married to Zakes Bantwini. She has her kids. Another one is Gail that I'd love to work with. She also serves me that same energy. And I feel like they're powerful women. So yeah.
Interestingly, though, on your makeup brand, why did you not put your name on it?
I didn't put my name on it because I've got haters, like, oh my God. It's like some people won't buy it because it's good. It's really good. But some people won't buy it because like, I didn't like her verse on Amantomazana remix, So that's the pure reason why I didn't put my name on it. Even like with Sports Scene, my range was called Braga Apparel. But obviously I modeled it. But I wanted people to just walk in and be like, that is so nice. And by the way, when Beyonce was here for Global Citizen, her dancers were walking in the mall and they bought my tracksuits. So Beyonce maybe saw the lime green, but purely of that because I wanted to make sure that it was good. I didn't want to sell you product just because I'm Nadia Nakai. I wanted it to be good. I wanted it to be on trend. I took money out of my own pocket to travel with TFG's, the Foschini Group, which is Sports Scene, is one of the houses that are under there. And they, as a group, what they do for all their brands, they travel to London because London's seasons are ahead of ours. So a lot of the time, what's trending in London will be what we see on Instagram, but is not available here yet. It's because they are the tastemakers. That's how they feel. I feel like Africa is, but that's not the point. So we had to travel to London, and then we traveled to Mauritius because Mauritius is where they do their denims and their textures. And then we traveled to Madagascar because that's where the factory is, where they actually put my apparels together. So I want to do denims, but I knew as South Africans, we have like very small waists and very big nyash. So when you're wearing a denim, I didn't want that pokey situation. Like that situation where you have to put a shoelace to kind of like close that gap. So I said, out of my own money. Yeah. Because you want to wear crop tops, So to close that gap, because the nyash is nyashing now. So you have to So I went and I said, no, if I'm going to do denims, I'm going to have to go to Mauritius out of my own money to go to that factory and see if they're going to be able to close that gap for me. And they weren't able to, so I didn't do it. Because I'm just like, I'm not going to pretend. On the photo shoot, it's there now, it's closed. But then when you're walking into store and you're wearing the stuff, it's not. And I was just like, I'm not going to give unauthentic stuff. So my point of what I'm trying to say is that I wanted everything that I'm involved in to genuinely be good so that you can enjoy it regardless if it's mine or not,
And when you navigate like that industry, say fashion, are you obviously learning new things because it's not exactly like the makeup or music? Maybe any other tidbits that you can share of things you had to just get up to speed very, very quickly on in terms of the fashion industry?
I had to learn a lot. So in my career, fashion has always run parallel because when I'm on stage, I need to have a performance outfit. And I was very big on, I need to serve sexy babes and I need to have like sequins because when the lights are facing me, it needs to reflect on my sequins so that the story behind MJ having white socks and a white glove is because he used to perform at such huge stadiums that when he went like this, he wanted that guy at the back of the stadium to see his white glove and his socks. You know what I mean? So that's how I kind of interpreted it with my outfits on stage. So I'd work with a custom person. Like if you're a designer, I'm going to say, babes, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want the drama, I want the lights, I want whatever. Which is extremely different when you're making clothes for mass markets. Because you have to take into account every single size, every single body shape, every single length leg. Like the ratio from hip to knee to leg is very different. Some people have very long torsos and very short legs, and some people have super long legs and very short torsos. So there was a lot that I had to learn when it came to stuff like that, but it was so interesting. And also like with glasses, like the different type of things that you can do with sunglasses. And I was like, guys, I really want to do this. And the restrictions. And they're like, no, we can't do that because your minimum quantity is too low. And if you want to do like a very specific mold, you have to have this amount of quantity because they make a unique mold for this specific design. You can't just have 100. You need like 10,000 to be able to give you a unique mold to do that. So what Zinhle is doing with Era is very monumental, because if she's doing those numbers, it means that she's creating her own molds, which is very, very hard to do. So I had to learn a whole lot of stuff like that. But also, like, even with the makeup, because it's self-funded, I've only got 9 shades. And I'm looking at like Lady Gaga, who's got 50 shades. And literally in the world, there's so many shades. In South Africa, there's so many shades. But I know that right now I can't cater for every shade at the moment. I'd love to, but I just don't have the coins for it. So like with my website, my foundation is not available because I don't want you to buy the foundation and it doesn't match your skin and you have to return it. And there's no way I can match your skin on the website. There's nothing I can do. Rihanna with Fenty, what she's done is she'll tell you to upload your picture. It picks up your CMYK and she links you to a shade number. The plugin for that CMYK thing is like 100,000 million rand, and the guy's based in India. I said, you know what? I'll get there. Right now, I'll just, not sell the foundation. I'll sell everything else. And then when I get there, I'll get that plugin.
I'm in India next month. You tell me who, I'll sort it out for you. Yeah. Brands like Beyonce, you mentioned, she had the fashion line, right? Is it still there?
Ivy Park?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's still there. I don't know. Maybe she's still workshopping the next range.
Yeah. And I think the reason why, unlike, say, Rihanna, who whatever she touches seems to fly, is that there's a level of authenticity between Rihanna's brand to what she actually sells, where it seemed for most people there was a disconnect between Beyonce and Adidas, I think. Do you think you being you, like just your energy, needs to translate to the products you sell?
I think it does. I think that's a very important comparison because I love Beyonce, guys. I'm a beehive for sure. But I feel like she's created this unattainable, unrelatable brand. You don't feel like she has problems. You don't feel like she has a bad hair day. Like, with Sacred, her hair brand, we literally saw her real hair for the first time during this marketing campaign. How wild is that? Like, we didn't know that, girl, you had such good hair. We didn't know you had such big ears, babe. You know what I'm kidding? I'm kidding. But, I'm just saying, like, it ends up feeling not authentic. It feels like you're doing it because you're trying to sell this product. She's now launched an alcohol brand. I have no aspirations to want to drink it because I don't feel like she drinks it. I don't believe that she even puts a drop of alcohol in her body. Like, because I feel like Beyonce is so perfect. Like, she's so, whereas Rihanna, she said, cheers to a freaking weekend. I believe she was doing it. I believe her, so she's going to sell me alcohol. I'm like, she probably really loves this. Even with her perfume, people were saying, I know Rihanna was just in this lift because she smells amazing. Everyone knew that Rihanna just had a scent. So when she dropped her perfume, I believed it because I'm like, she's probably going to take so much time to make sure that this perfume is amazing. So I feel like Rihanna's brand is 100% more relatable because she shows her flaws. She shows who she really is. She doesn't care that she has a big forehead. She made that thing cool. She made that thing like, I'm going to serve alien babes. She made it sexy. And I think that's what is very important for one, selling brands as a brand, like as an artist, but also other brands, when they look at artists to collaborate with, they mustn't just look at numbers and algorithms and how many likes that person has, because you're going to fall flat. If you choose the wrong person based off that, your brand is not going to go anywhere because there's no belief in that brand. You have to really do that research. That's why, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Slicker on Live. Slicker was, I don't know if he still is, but what I thought was so amazing is he used to work as a consultant with different brands as the bridge between brand and culture. So he will go into the brand. Actually, Slicker actually cultivated my deal with Sportscene. And I think those positions are very important, where there's somebody that knows the culture very well, that knows what's going on the ground, and bridges the gap between the brands, because the brands don't know what's going on. I think it's important to have somebody that actually teaches these companies about brand.
Fully agree.
Culture, sorry.
Yeah. And I've got actually a couple of friends in the cosmetics business. and in one of my podcasts, we were sharing some interesting information in terms of like how super hard it is. In other words, you might have a passion and you might have a skill and you might be a makeup artist, but when you're converting that skill or passion into a business, there's so many different things to learn. So one of them has a hair care brand. She says, dude, I used to go to Discam and Clicks and measure the shelf spacing to see what size bottle works best and how do you stick out, because all of a sudden there's just many of them and people don't do the basics. It's just go seeing where you're going to fit in and how you're going to stick out, right? And then also the thing that people don't do is getting on the shelf is half of the battle. The hardest battle is to stay on the shelf, right? Because now you're on there and you are competing with everybody with massive marketing budgets, right? L'Oreal, all of these guys, they have merchandisers whose sole job is to just go make sure that the product is on shelf and is merchandised, so it's facing the right way and what. Wena uzama kuza wena kind of thing, and then you put all 6 of the same SKU horizontally because I need to zamgoti, it must take up the space, right? Problem with that, every time one person takes out a product, it looks like umkino, like there's a gap on the tooth, and you don't go back to merchandise, right? And that's the stuff that kills your business. It's almost never the actual quality or the product itself. It's just that it's not available, right? You can't sell Ayiko essentially, right? So I think that's an important part to learn on that. Brands like MTN creating spaces like this, what do you think companies or corporates could do more of to, I suppose, share the learnings? Why reinvent the wheel when you've already gone through the journey?
To be honest, I think what you guys are doing is amazing, because if I had the thought process that I have now when I was in my 20s, I'd be a millionaire. Honestly, because you guys are starting so early, and I feel like this generation of Gen Zs, you guys are really all about your money more than we ever were as millennials. You guys are really about it. That's almost like why is Papi Cooper not at this event? She's like, I'm pulling up if they ain't paying me, But you know how many things we used to do for free? They used to say, yo, exposure, We were really doing things for the fun of it, but you guys are really about your money, and I think that's very admirable. You guys should really give it up for yourselves, because having platforms like this now is just going to amplify you even more. I feel like whatever you're doing now, in 5 years' time, it's going to be so different to what it is now. And that is if you're even doing it alone. Now, if you have a platform like MTN Pulse that can just elevate you, amplify you at this stage of the game of your brand starting out, it's monumental. I don't know, maybe they were during my time and I just wasn't paying attention to it because I was going to gigs for exposure. But honestly, I think these initiatives are extremely important, because if you guys haven't noticed, the world is looking at South Africa right now. I'm not even saying Africa. The world is looking at South Africa right now. We got Tebe Magugu right now in Paris doing Fashion Week. Khachi Hankutsia just came from London Fashion Week. The music side of things, piano, it's crazy how the world is looking at us right now. So before, it was so difficult to bridge the gap because there was no Twitter, there was no Instagram. I know I'm making myself sound so old, but really, I think I was the first ones on Twitter. They should actually give me a badge or plaque. But honestly, it really helps because you guys are now directly communicating with your consumers. Now, before, I had to, globally, before my music had to be on radio. I had to see what level I was on the Rams chart. Okay, now I need to get my music video on YouTube. Not on YouTube, YouTube wasn't even like that. On MTV, on Channel O, for me to feel like I'm getting bookings. If I didn't get that, then I wasn't popping. But now there's artists that are popping on social media and then they won't even go to one radio interview. They're not at YFM, babes. They don't see them because they don't need it anymore. So they've taken the power back, because a lot of these radio interviews used to bully us, to be like, no, they wouldn't say this, but they would insinuate it. To be like, we have an event, you rub my back, I rub your back. If you come and do this thing for free, your song will play. There's no payola now because they don't care now. You're going to have to play the song because the people listening to the songs are going to say, it's porting your station. But before, there was always a barter that had to happen in order for your song to be played. There was always a favor that needed to happen. And the fact that you guys have taken, I'm not even going to say as, you guys have taken back the power from the people that were abusing it is amazing, because literally you guys are creating the new industry and it's on your terms. And it's being amplified by MTN Pulse, and it's being initiated by you guys. I'm telling you, the bridge is this small now, as opposed to when I started out. There wasn't even a flight to where I was trying to go to, babes. you're not gonna make it, you know? So congratulations, guys. This is very exciting to see.
Word on the street is just that. Words. No one's really walking the talk.
It's promises, future plans, possibilities.
So much sukhoa. And for what exactly?
Safa.
In fact, we've heard it all before. It's like a song on repeat.
Let's get to it already.
Let's drop the mic, roll up our sleeves, and get it.
So if you're down for less what ifs, maybes, more action.
And if you understand the assignments.
Join MTN Pulse, a platform that empowers the youth with exclusive, affordable data offers.
That gives us access to educational platforms, career and lifestyle rewards, and so many more.
We've got the receipts.
MTN Pulse is giving blessa. Giving, don't worry about it.
There are perks for days, rewards always, monthly and yearly. Just because you're part of the fam.
I mean, if you got someone who backs you like that, I mean, come on, let's operate.
Dial *411# to join MTN Pulse. For teens and under 25s, T's and C's apply.
So how can you balance wanting to be like professional and serious, right? And also like while being humble and relatable to people, because you're trying to treat your music as a business. You don't want to just like go to studio and vibe out in J and just make songs and just drop them and then just like call it a day. So how do you make sure like everything is just as professional as much as you guys are having fun in the studio?
Yeah, it's a very good question, because especially like with our industry, the music that comes out actually has to be on a vibe. So you have to be able to wear two hats. So when I'm doing business like now, here it's a business thing. So if you're going to take my time, I will leave. But when I'm in studio, I'm going to let the process go, because when you're being yourself and everyone is comfortable and everyone's just doing ideas is when you come out with the best gems. So I'm a little bit more lenient when I'm working on music in the studio. The making process, 100%. Once that song is mixed and mastered and I now need to send it to my record label and they need to get it to DSPs, the business hat comes on and says, don't put me on the wrong playlist. If I'm doing 3-step and you're putting me on a hip-hop playlist, don't put me on Rap Life, babes. Because I'm doing a different type of genre. That's when I become a little bit more stoic and a little bit more rigid with my business cap. But in the studio, babes, it really has to be vibes. You have to just enjoy it. I don't know if I'm answering your question, but you really just have to vibe.
How do you build your brand, the value of your brand, Yeah.
You don't oversaturate it. What I mean by that is don't say yes to everything. That's why I like what the Gen Zs are doing right now, because they will not come out and give you their source if it's not beneficial to them, which is what, as millennials, we used to do all the time. We did a lot of things for free. Let me give you an example. So there's a car brand that wants to fly me down to Cape Town that I've been having discussions with about being a brand ambassador for. But they want to fly me to Cape Town to go to their launch. They don't want to pay me. They just want to book my flights and my accommodation. I said no, because I can do that. I'll be all over your media that day, and you can decide not to sign me on Monday. And now I've oversaturated my brand, because when I put it out, you will all think I'm working with that car brand. You won't know that I was doing something as a favor. No, because now that car brand doesn't sign me. Do you think another car brand's going to sign me? Because their perception of me is I'm working with that car brand, but they haven't signed me. So don't do everything, even on your posting. Like if you're at an event, look behind you. If they have now MTN shame tricky, you hear. But if you're at an event and you're seeing Jägermeister, don't take a picture there, babe. Don't, because they're not paying you for that. Even on your Instagram, because right now also it's very influencer based. So someone else will be like, okay, what's a competitor for Jägermeister tequila? Don Julio. They'll look at your page, they'll look at your algorithms and say, but maybe this guy's working Jägermeister. You were innocently just taking a picture and there was a brand behind you. Don't do that.
So basically, learn to say no.
No. Say no.
So what is left out in that part is that when you're struggling, you are always likely to say yes to everything, because their ends are not meeting. You know what I mean? So you are like, yeah, okay, I'll do it because, you're desperate, right? But I think what's being said in the masterclass is that you have to learn very quickly on to value your brand. So even if you are saying early on, yes, because you need to make the ends meet, be conscious that that is a decision you are actually making. In other words, don't let the world make decisions on your behalf. You need to be an active participant to the decisions you make.
I disagree, because you can go your whole career with not one brand working with you and you can still be successful. You don't have to say yes at the beginning when you're struggling and when you've made it, because a lot of artists, whatever you said, you're a musician, most likely what's going to take you overseas is your music, not the brands that are here trying to do things. You know what I mean? I disagree with that. Sorry. I really don't think at the beginning, yes, you might want to say yes to things because things are not meeting. Say no, because they will meet. They will meet. It's going to get to a place where it's going to be beneficial. Don't be taken advantage by these brands, because they will. They will overuse you. They will saturate you. They will take advantage of you. They'll give you bad contracts if they see that you're desperate and your ends are not meeting. Value what you're doing, because I'm telling you, whatever that is that you're doing is what's going to take you there.
I just wanted to ask regarding your makeup. Why did you choose to use China as a manufacturer? And also, how can one go about to collaborate with you, with your makeup brand, or just work with you as a normal civilian? I know I'm not Nandi, Madida, but
you're gorgeous, though. You're beautiful. I saw you all the way from there. I was like, "Ooh, girl!"
Thank you very much. And also, I wanted to know, on your face right now, is that your products that you've used?
Okay, so the first one was, why did I choose China? It's the easiest thing that I knew to do, to be honest. It's the only, I'm not gonna lie, guys, I went on to Alibaba. I definitely did, because I'm not well versed. I don't know where, I know Selena Gomez, I think, or Kylie Jenner, they manufacturers are in Paris, but I knew my minimum quantities. I didn't have the money for that. So I knew where I went, I'm gonna be able to get mass at a low unit cost, was China. And I then had to shop which manufacturing companies can I do with. And then I had to find a supplier in that city to send my stock to so that they can ship it and bring it here. Because the quantities, you can't fly, you can't DHL, you can't private courier. So there's a lot of learning I had to do. I still need to go to China so I can meet the suppliers and find out other ways that I can do it that's easier and probably more cost effective. But unfortunately, that's the easiest way. And then collaborating with me. So I will be doing campaigns. Just DM me, remind me of this encounter so I can follow you back. And then what I do have, because I don't want to be the one that's doing all my photo shoots. I don't think it should be me all the time. And I do want to have things which shows different types of women, different types of shades and stuff like that. But remember, I'm budgeting myself, so I'm trying my best, babes. But I definitely would love, because you're gorgeous, you're beautiful. What was the last question? Oh, it is on my face, but I didn't do it myself. So my makeup artist comes to my house. She does my makeup with my products.
I'm quite curious about when it comes to personal branding. When you became an artist, how was your choices to become an authentic artist, keeping your name and, becoming a pop star? How did you really navigate who you are today when you were becoming who you are today?
So at the beginning of my career, I had no choice other than to be my authentic self, because I didn't have a brand team. I didn't have a manager. I didn't have a stylist. I didn't have anyone that can say, this is what's going to work in the market. This is a palatable way that you can do your music, and this is how you should dress. The only thing I do is what was in my cupboard, babes, and it had to be who I am authentically, and it worked. And then as I continued to grow and I started having people joining my team and I started having strategists and a whole bunch of stuff, then it was a thing where I had to really stand strong in myself to be like, don't make me something I'm not. Don't compare me to be something I'm not. Do you know how many times they've wanted me to be, one, a piano artist? I can't dance, so I'm not going to do that. It's not authentic to me. And my fans are not stupid. They will know it's not real and they will not buy into it. Two, to become a DJ duo. How many female DJs are in this country right now? You need Nadia Nakai to be on the decks. Please give me a chance. My DJ is right now here. That guy in that pink top there, he said I must become a DJ also. And I'm like, no, because that's what's hot right now, but it's not authentic to me. I don't think I would be able to sell it well. Being a hip-hop artist is what I love and I enjoy, and this is what I do authentically. And I think people buy into it because it's really me. I'm not faking it. And that's why I'm still here. Do you know how many people have come out and said, yo, there's this new rapper that's coming out, this new female rapper that's coming out, and she's about to take you off the charts. She's about to take you one. And yeah, she came and she had a little run, but she's still here. Nah. Who's still here? Braga. Because I didn't do this for anything else other than the fact that I really am about this shit. it. Like, I really love this. I'm not doing it because I'm trying to be famous. I'm not doing it because I'm trying to be hot. I'm not doing it so I can chill with the boys. I'm doing it because I love it. This is me.
And when it came to your name in the beginning, did you also know like you weren't going to go side left with a different name, or, you know, you as an artist, did you know that was your name and surname and that was just going to be it?
No, because Nakai is not my name. My name's Nadia. Nakai is not my surname. It's my stage name. So I knew that I did want a stage name purely for the fact that I always knew that I was going to be a very raunchy, racy type of celebrity. And I couldn't have my surname there to protect my family, in a sense of like, I don't want anyone to like say
Identify.
Yeah, I want to
yeah.
really separate the two. And then Braga came up was when I did Raga Raga with Family Tree, and they were like, "Oh, you're a boss, call me Braga." And then everyone started calling me Braga, and I said, "Perfect, let me take Nadia out of the situation." So now I'm Braga.
It's an experience. You basically have to feel what you become.
Exactly, yes.
I'm a podcaster and I'm an upcoming actor. So what I want to know is that how can someone call a big brand like you on a podcast?
So it would have to be via my email, because I don't approve like the PR stuff. Because one, there's times when I do PR, like when I'm about to drop a song is when I'll start doing podcast interviews and radio interviews. I don't do it anytime. And that's really controlled by my manager. So it would have to be via email. You'd have to send all your details. You'd have to say, unfortunately, you would have to say your numbers, you would have to say your engagements to kind of sell why I should be on your podcast. But it would have to be something that would be discussed with my manager.
How did you find your unique selling point in a oversaturated industry? And from that, how do you then like maintain your audience's development of a parasocial relationship?
So parasocial relationship, the way that I understand it, is when you're watching Bold and the Beautiful and you're in love with Stefano Demera, Days of Our Lives, you're not realizing that the person's not a real person, you can't fall in love with that person. Okay, so you're saying parasocial relationships in a sense of my fan consuming my products and thinking that they know me and they actually don't know me. So it's difficult to navigate that, because I would never want to dismiss someone that loves me but doesn't necessarily know me, but I can't explain myself to every person that I meet on the street. I'll put my story in my music 100%, but I would never want to create a distance. It was difficult when I was dealing with a lot, but now I'm in a good space, and I feel like I love when people tell me how much they love me. Like, I love when they say, "Oh my God, you're my favorite person. I feel like you're my sister." And like, that stuff makes me so happy and it makes me smile. And I feel like I get actually offended when people are like, "Oh, I saw you at the airport, but I was too scared to come say hi." I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm such a nice person, but I know I have a resting bitch face, so that's okay. So when I came up in the industry, to be honest, it wasn't oversaturated at all. There was actually a very big need to have female representation in South African hip-hop. Internationally, yes, okay. But also even internationally, I felt like Nicki was running by herself for a very long time. It's only now where there's Lotto and there's Saweetie and there's Glorilla and there's Cardi. But honestly, Nicki was running the game for a very long time on her own. And when I came up, like the female rap queens like Cuba, Supra, Miss Intabi, that were then, but they were never doing what I was doing. I pulled up looking sexy. I was wearing like pink hair and nails, and people thought I was trying to be like Nicki Minaj, but no, I was trying to just be feminine. I was just trying to be a girl. I really wanted you to feel my female presence, because I kept saying a female trying to act like one of the guys is a waste of a good girl. Like, come on, I'm trying to be a girl. I want to be sexy, you know? So that was, yeah, you can clap. I hear you. So I feel like that was my unique selling proposition at that time, because there was a shift in female rap. I started, you guys are familiar with Back to the City Festival, right? When I was on Back to the City, I wasn't even allowed to perform on that stage. I hosted it for about two to 3 years before I could even perform. And I witnessed the hip hop shift, because Back to the City back then, there wasn't the Nasty C's and the A-Reeses. There was like this old school backpack rap guys that were pulling up your hardcore hip hop, like they were spitting, you know? And when I was hosting, I started seeing the shift of like the more commercial guys were getting on the stage, and, you know, and then I was like, okay, cool, this is perfect for me to come out now and Back to the City as this sexy girl that's gonna pull up and be like, you know, and I felt like that was a very unique selling proposition for me, because I saw the shift happening while I was hosting Back to the City. And now I was able to perform on it because the whole culture changed.
Switch to MTN and dial *411# to join MTN Pulse for discounted data offers and dope experiences for under 25s. T's and C's apply.